We've spoken generally to this, but I think especially with clarity being, we personally are heavily invested in this last line item of the direct mail. Increasingly, we're invested in being more multimodal in our support for health plans with email and SMS. But the point is not about the modalities that we service. The point is that these are all the modalities that your members might be reachable through. So whether you're going to do less of this through direct mail, more through outbound calls, more through social media, you have to make that decision for yourself. I think the more important perspective on this is, as communication strategists, we can't have something be so important to a member when we reach them through this touch point, but when they call the call center, there's no recognition of that. And so this is an incredibly easy slide to look at, but it's an incredibly difficult sort of effort to take on to make sure that all of these communications sing in chorus. But it is worthwhile taking stock of what does our footprint for outbound calls look like? What does our automated call and sort of outbound automated calls look like relative to direct mail, et cetera? Coordination is what your members will feel, and a lack of coordination is what will make them say, oh my gosh, this feels like it's run by 100 different people who are all pinging me to get in touch, and there's no real connectivity or chorus to it. So just a reminder, but also a nice frame to say we have to do these things in concert here.
Yeah, and a hybrid, right? There's no one silver bullet. You can't just over-index on email or just do print. It has to be a combination of several, and that's where I like looking at the coverage potential as well as effectiveness. That's where we spend a lot of time with our plans. Again, even if they're not doing email or SMS with us, we learn a lot through the print channel that informs those other channels and vice versa. So definitely good as a takeaway. If you're going to take anything, just make sure you bring this information back to your teams. It's definitely a good one.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, as you're saying that, Sarah, it's the right tool for the right job.
Yes.
The outbound calls may have a very low coverage potential, but they also can be maybe one of the most personal that reaches someone who really, for example, has a care gap to close. So maybe that's the right tool in that situation.
Yep.
Doing something like email is obviously going to be the most cost effective across a mass audience, but isn't going to have the exact same efficacy that it drives. So all of these things, again, they're just members of the team that all play together.